I don't know because the Newcastle end up said because they've got their kit release next week. But then I also got told he's actually contracted to Adidas Brazil, and he has been for a bit. And that was part of the issue as well. But the last message I got was if City want Bruno, City will get Bruno as long as they pay it.
Why do I have a feeling that if Bruno goes to Man City, he'll be another Calvin Phillips, but if he goes to Arsenal, he'll be a Declan Rice?
What?
So what you're saying is Pep doesn't know how to use him.
No, it's not about Pep. It's about Bruno himself. I'm not his biggest fan, to be honest, and I've expressed that a lot of time. I don't know why I feel like if he goes to Man City, he falls short of the physical and all the requirements that Pep needs. I don't know. Because Calvin Phillips,
why are you saying that? I rate
Calvin Phillips was amazing at Leeds, bro. He was ahead of Declan Rice.
Totally different player, Mo. Tell you why the Calvin Phillips failed. Calvin Phillips was just a straight 6 and nothing else. You can't in a Manchester City side.
I don't know why.
You can't just be a 6.
Do you not think Bruno's more of a replacement for Gundogan that they didn't really replace with Nunes?
I think he would be a replacement for both because he can play 6 and 8. He can do both jobs.
Bruno's class, Mo. Come on, Mo.
Yeah,
I don't get this.
You know what? I swear to God, Dan, every time I'm watching the guy, I'm not moved.
Yeah, but isn't that the type of player that he is? He's not meant to move you. He's in there doing a job that he's doing exceptionally well that allows the whole rest of the team of players that do move you to tick.
In my opinion, he's just a Jorginho with more fouls.
No, he's not even the same profile, Mo.
Silence.
Mo, he's not even the same profile.
And without the ability to be a Jorginho.
No, he's not.
He's a Jorginho with the violence. Okay, so let me tell you, he's slow. He's very slow. Very slow, right? Let me explain this, okay? Very simple.
He ain't Jorginho slow. He ain't Jorginho slow.
Let me explain to this why. For top teams like Man City or Arsenal, your 6 or one of your midfielders need to be athletic because you attack with numbers and you get hit on transition. And you either need a smart player like Rodri who knows how to stop, right, in terms of positioning and stuff like this, or you need an athletic player like a Thomas Partey who relies so much on, yes, smart, but also athletic in recovery to stop the transition because you get hit with counters. And when you press so high and someone bypass your press, right, you are left with 2 defenders or 1 defender and 1 midfielder, and you need to stop the opposition. The difference is at Man City, if that happens, Bruno Guimaraes is too slow to do this, and he opts to do the violence, the free kicks, and the fouls and stuff like this. Rodri does it a little bit more subtle. Every time I'm watching Bruno Guimaraes, he passes the ball well, but not as well as other players. And his defensive attributes are not amazing. He wins tackles sometimes, but he wins tackle in a different team than how Arsenal and Man City play. This is just me trying to make it footballing thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he has the attributes to be a lone 6 in a team that attacks with 7, 8 players. And he's not that playmaker. And he doesn't crash. For example, Declan Rice proved the second half of the season that he can crash the 18. For example, that can be the athletic guy that back the left side, that go in the 18 and stuff like this. I don't know. Why you're laughing? Why you're smiling?
Mo, can you go and say exactly what you just said to Mikel Arteta and Pep Guardiola, please? Because then they won't come.
Isn't this the same guys that got Sambi Lokonga and Calvin Phillips? Aren't these the same people? Aren't these the same people that got Calvin Phillips and Sambi Lokonga and thought they would bang? Same. By the way, this talent ID that Pep Guardiola doesn't get it wrong. That's not actually true. Sometimes.
But what Pete's saying is he doesn't want to lose Bruno, so he wants you to kind of convince
because I think he suits Newcastle very well. I think he suits Newcastle very well with the likes of Joelinton around him, with Longstaff, even with Tonali, who's physical. I think that midfield complemented each other very well, actually. That midfield, and also with the workhorses of Gordon and Miggy on the sides, and behind him with Botman before he got injured and Fabian Schär. That team suit itself together. Remove them individually. Fabian Schär before that didn't look amazing. I'm in love with Fabian Schär, right? He looked amazing in that way of playing football. He looked fantastic, right? Bro, who thought that Longstaff can be that guy before that system came together? Do you want to tell me that if Longstaff leaves there and go to Man City and Arsenal, he would perform the same way he performed for Newcastle? No, I doubt it. Joao Linton. No, you wouldn't think
Newcastle fans don't think Longstaff even performs for Newcastle.
But he performs not bad, but he doesn't perform bad.
Last
season he was good. Last season he was good.
Last season he was very good. This season he has been shocking. And Newcastle fans want him out the team.
Newcastle fans want
you didn't have a right winger. You remember that? You didn't have a right winger. Miguel Almiron was in our team. And
he's another player we want gone as well.
But my point about even Miguel Almiron.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. For me, Bruno Guimaraes is an outstanding midfielder. Some of the things that you've touched on, I do agree with you. And there's some things that I've shared over the course on Loaded Mag with my frustrations with Bruno Guimaraes. But you talked about him athletically. Bruno Guimaraes covered more ground than any other Premier League player this season. Like, he gets around the pitch. He's pretty much, I think he only missed one game through suspension. He's played every single game for Newcastle.
1,000 in the top 5 leagues in Europe. Bruno Guimaraes.
Don't sleep on his recoveries and his ability to recover the ball. Very, very good. Very good, deceptively good for Newcastle United. And actually, his recoveries are not these lung-busting, high intensity tackles. What he does, he reads the play really well. So they hunt in packs of 2s and 3s, and he's normally the one that recovers the ball because he covers the ground really well. I do agree, his recovery runs aren't great. He isn't the fastest. His pace is an issue, particularly in recoveries. But this is why he wants to play as a number 8. He doesn't want to play as a number 6. He's played the last 2 years as a number 6 because he's doing a job for the team. But he wants to play as a number 8, and there's no denying that when he plays as a number 8, he is even better.
So what aspects of his game is amazing? Does he contribute goals, assists? Is he a playmaker?
What 15, 16 goal contributions this season, which is not bad for a midfielder. Yes. For me, it's the knitting of the midfield to the forward line. So he controls possession. So playing as a 6, everything comes through him. So from the defenders, from the centre backs, from the goalkeeper, into Bruno Guimaraes, from the fullbacks, Trippier, Tino on the left, or whoever is on the left, everything comes through Bruno Guimaraes. He then distributes the balls out wide. He then links the play from a number 6. He then transitions into a number 8. And when we're higher up on the field, on the edge of the area, he's the one that makes the connecting passes. His range of passes is brilliant. You only have to look at what he did to Man City at St. James's Park 2 or 3 times. His long-range passes absolutely destroyed Man City at times. His short game's exceptional. Like, he can keep the ball. His possession, the amount of fouls he gets against him because people can't get the ball off him. In those short distances, 5-10 yards, it's impossible to get the ball off him. Like, the ball is glued to his foot. And I don't know how he does it sometimes, but he is outstanding with it.
I agree with Pete. I think he's quality, man.
The only thing I would just add to that, is that maybe he could get more goals. He could get, but I genuinely believe if he's playing with as a number 8, he would advance into the box and be able to be in the position to score more goals. Because whenever he does decide to throw caution to the wind and get himself forward, he actually gets himself into a lot of goal-scoring opportunities. And that's where some of his goals have come from this season. But he's a very unselfish player.
Let me ask you, Pete, right? You guys put £100 of your money on one of these options. Bruno staying at Newcastle, Bruno going to City, or Bruno going to Arsenal. Where are you putting your money?
He's eating Nando's, bro, with the money. He's not winning the money. You know?
Oh, you know what?
He's not
I ain't had dinner yet. Yeah, I'm not. You can pick the Nando's option. In all seriousness, I'm split. I'm split £50 on him staying at Newcastle, £50 on going to Man City. I do agree with what Martin said, regardless of what's been rumoured, because as I mentioned to you, Potts, before the show, there has been rumours particularly on Wednesday night, that there was rumours that Newcastle, that Bruno's going to stay at Newcastle. They were kind of the rumours that were going around. But for me, I just keep going back to that relationship with Pep Guardiola. If Man City come in, he's going. And I wouldn't begrudge him to go. He's got guaranteed trophies there. He could go and win the Champions League, the Premier League, the trophies that, for me, a player of his ability deserves to win. I can't begrudge him that. And there's two reasons. One, because of his quality. He is an outstanding footballer. For me, he's one of the best midfielders I've ever seen in the 30-plus years I've supported Newcastle United. The best midfielder I've seen.
Can I ask a question, Pete? Sorry to jump in. Does this release clause go into next season?
No. And this is the thing.
That's the point.
He's already...
Now, when does he move?
Yeah. Well... There you go, and this is where it gets interesting, because you talked about the release clause. The release clause is already a week in. It started the last week of May, and it ends before the last week of June. So he's effectively got 3 weeks left. Now, one thing you've got to take into consideration, it might not matter, it could, but the fact that he's already in Brazil preparing for a Copa America, will he want his potential future hanging over his head when he's focused on Copa America? I don't know. So for me, if he's going to move, it will be within the next week or so.
Can I ask you something, Pete? For real, don't you think that Bruno Guimaraes should wait a little bit before committing his future to Man City before the charges come through? For a player like in his caliber, why are you doing this, Martin? Why are you doing this, Martin?
There we go.
It's a very genuine question. It's a genuine question.
We had the same question last
Genuine
year.
question, bro. It's a
Why would
superstar for Brazil.
players
A superstar for Brazil. A superstar at Newcastle. He gets paid. He got off. He can go to other clubs, and then he can commit for 5-year contract at Man City.
Come on, all the lawyers are coming in the chat now. Let's get rolling.
Honestly, Martin, I raised that same question on our show last night. I raised exactly the same question, but it wasn't because of the charges. It's because of the rumors that it's potentially Pep's.
Yes,
that's the correct
that as well.
That for me, I think
will leave because of the charges.
If he goes to Man, okay, he's made the
He's going to New York.
I think he's going to Man City.
1-0 more.
Please don't underestimate. Please don't underestimate Bruno Guimaraes' love for Newcastle United. He absolutely loves the city. He is engrossed in everything Newcastle United. It's going to be a massive pull to take him away, and that's why I think if he's going to go anywhere, it's going to be Man City for that reason. I think Arsenal is a great club, and I actually think he would probably suit their football maybe even better at Arsenal. But I think that allure of guaranteed trophies that he's bound to get with Man City is going to be a pull that he cannot deny. And for all Arsenal's good work, and this is no disrespect to Arsenal, you parts or the fan base, for all of your fantastic work and fantastic football over the last 2 years, you haven't got anything to show for it. And that would be maybe a concern if he's coming up against Arsenal or Man City. So I do think that it's not straightforward, but I do think if Man City put the money down, it won't be Bruno's got a decision to make. I think Man City will only put the money down if they've got assurances.
I want to ask Pete a question since he's here now, and we don't meet a lot. I hope we do more. Look, if you are an advisor, like forget the charge and everything. I'm talking about Arsenal and Newcastle now, right? Forget Man City. If Man City aren't on the table, for example, and Bruno Guimaraes is being offered a contract at Arsenal, you know more than us. Can the Newcastle people convince him that the project they are building? I don't know about the finances of Newcastle, but we were told last season with the likes of Tonali, Gordon, that the project is there to become one of the best in the world, right? With the stadium revamp and all the stuff. Do you think there is a case for them to convince him that the project long term, because he's not old, for the past 5 years is better than the Arsenal project?
I think they would try to. I think they would try to. Like, we have to take sort of this season out of the conversation because we were massively hampered by injuries.
Yes.
I genuinely believe that if we didn't have those injuries, we'd have been fighting for Champions League, and it would be a very different conversation now. I think having we got Champions League 2 seasons in a row, I don't think Bruno leaves the club. I think he stays with Newcastle United, in my opinion. However, we're in a different conversation now. I think the conversation will be within the next 2 or 3 weeks, if it's not already happened, give us 1 more year. Give us 1 more year to show you that we can fight at the top end of the table. And if we cannot do that, then you have our blessing to leave. Because let's not forget, Newcastle benefit from this as well. 100 million with FFP. We're able to go and spend money the money that we wanted to go and spend, but the Premier League very quickly put a very number of different rules in place, like sponsorships and all the other things that they've put into place that have effectively hampered Newcastle's quick accelerated growth. Like, getting that 100 million for Bruno Guimaraes allows us to do exactly that. So Newcastle United will benefit regardless. It'll be a huge hole to fill, but what it allows Newcastle United to do, if he goes, will accelerate our project by maybe 2 or 3 seasons.